Hey there, Math Moment Makers. We are so delighted to be welcoming back a guest. And actually, John, I should have went back and I should have counted up how many times this guest has been on the podcast.
Two.
Because
I
they
did.
might be, you did. Okay. Are they in competition with?
This is the third. So that's pretty.
Where's James Tanton here? Because
I think he's 3.5. We said last time.
Yeah, because he came on with some other people. So he's 3.5. So he's still ahead. But this is just like we're putting it on, James, your radar right now, wherever you are. If you're climbing a mountainlet in Phoenix or something like that, you better pause and you better, reach out to us to get a booking here, because Dr. Nicki Newton's back and she is hot on the trail to try to be the most guested.
Well,
is that what we would call this? I don't know.
I think we have to put her in that spot, because she's not only been on twice. She was on episode 317 where we talked about multiplication, division. We talked about at episode 62 we talked about running records, which 62. This is episode 490.
I was just going to say
I don't know. It's something. Yeah. It's a lot. So it's that was a long time ago. But not only the two, I think we've talked about this before, Dr. Nicki, that I think you are the only person to have attended every single of the 7, because the summit is coming up. The 7th annual summit is coming, and I think you've been in every one. So I don't think anyone else has that record
on the screen right now. That is huge.
Welcome.
John, I'm so glad that you did the appropriate homework here, because in my mind, I did not look at either, but I wanted to talk about the summit as well. Every time I've had the pleasure of hosting your session a few times on the summit. I didn't get a chance to do it in every single summit, but every time the chat is on fire. People are loving it. You're always full of energy, and we're happy to have you back here on the podcast, but of course, super happy to have you back at the summit this November. It is our 7th summit, I believe, and we are looking to make it the best one yet. So, Dr. Nicki Newton, welcome back. How are you today? And what's going on?
Give her a chance. It's her turn to talk now.
Yeah. Okay, I'm done. I'm gonna hit the mute button. Here we go.
No, I'm fantastic. I am in New York City in the principal's office.
Oh my gosh, trouble.
I said,
you
I
did
have
something
to
bad.
take my lunch and do a podcast. So she said, okay, go in my office.
I love it. Fantastic. Well, if the principal you're working with or the office you're borrowing, they want to come on the show too, feel free to welcome him in. But remember, just like James Tanton, you welcome somebody else in, you're only going to get counted for half of it here on the podcast. So that could hurt your numbers. Dr. Nicki, you've always got a lot of things going on in the math world, but the topic that we are going to be digging into here today, and we're going to dig right into it, and I think a lot of people are going to lean in on this one, is AI. And we're talking about how do we use it? How can we use it for good? I'm sure there's ways we can use it maybe for bad or for some poor outcomes.
Yes.
What's got your head sort of spinning around AI, and what's got you so intrigued to sort of bring it in, and how we can reimagine a K-5 math classroom?
NCTM asked me to do an Ignite for one of the virtual conferences in the spring. So I was like, I'm going to do AI. And my friends are like, why are you doing AI? And I was like, because I use AI all the time and I'm interested in it. And I knew that preparing for the Ignite would make me even go deeper. So that was in April, and I haven't slept since.
You've just been talking to ChatGPT the whole time.
Yeah.
Nobody thought AI was supposed to make our lives easier. It sounds like it's made your life more difficult.
Yeah. All my friends are like, they won't answer my calls because they know I'm going to talk about AI.
Or they're like, I don't even know if it's Nicki anymore.
Well, you know what? For those who are leaning in, and while I know that you like to focus in on K-5, I think a lot of the topics we're going to be talking about can be, sort of taken and extended to other grade bands, of course.
Absolutely.
So start us off. Obviously it's intriguing. I'm sure, a lot of people are interested, but what really grabbed your attention about what this could do?
Because I had been using it, but when I did the Ignite, it really, really made me dig deep in and see what it was. And then I thought, I got to write about this because we're in the 4th Industrial Revolution. Everything has shifted. I've been teaching almost 40 years. And I was like, amazing. I am now a Jetson. I can sit at the computer and I can say, all those shows I grew up on, because I'm about to turn 60. So I grew up on, the Jetsons. I grew up on I Dream of Jeannie,
Oh
where you
yeah, I
bob
remember.
your head and then it happens. I can do that. I can sit at the computer, bob my head, and literally, I don't even have to type. I can say, give me 3 flying monkeys carrying orange bananas and bob my head, and then it's there because it goes by voice.
You know what? The only thing that makes it obvious it was AI generated is that they were orange bananas. Everything else, if you said yellow bananas, then people would have never known
The
the
person had
difference.
6 fingers carrying them too.
Yeah.
So I love it. I love it. And of course, for me, the first thing I said, I got to write about this. I got to write. I got to write. So I called up Aaron from Corwin and I said, these are 3 books that I need to write. I need to write a K2, a 3.5, and a 6.8. Math with AI. Right. And I'm not even talking about using AI with kids. I'm not even there yet. I am talking about teacher work and our lives and what AI can do for us and how we then can use that to impact what kids have done. So I've just finished the first book, the K2 book, and now it has a rhythm. So the 3.5, I've already started writing it, and the 6.8, they're all different topics because it really goes into the content of the grade band. But it's just amazing the things that we can do.
Yeah, like talk to me. Like I can imagine, but I want to hear your take on it because I know teachers are listening who they're also using it for planning, structuring, using as a reference. Like, what is your top recommendation right now today for teachers to use
I think
tomorrow?
what I see, because I'm in Jersey a lot, so I see a lot, and I'm from California, and my background is as a bilingual teacher. So when I go into classrooms, even here in New York City schools, right, we have kids that speak all kinds of languages. So the teacher's like, it's one thing if you're in a community where you have a lot of bilingual teachers, even if your teachers are monolingual, there's still supports for, say, Spanish. You know what I'm saying? But you get a child that speaks Hmong or Nahuatl, nobody speaks that. So there's no support. So the teacher's just like, in general, I don't know what to do. I don't speak Hmong and he doesn't speak English and I don't know what to do. And so the kids are just kind of out there. Well, with AI, you can go in. I love it for so many reasons. And there's a lot of bad stuff about it, but I love it for so many reasons. Because I can go in as a monolingual teacher and I can differentiate instruction according to the WIDA standards, which are the 6 levels of language acquisition, right? And I can now get questioning that is appropriate. So now I know this child at level 1, they don't speak any English. I'm going to ask them to point to the answer. I'm going to say, is it yes or no? I'm going to ask different questions according to the language that the child has so that everybody can participate. I think AI really invites more people to the table. It gives us more tools to work on. Not to mention now, do you know that there is an earphone that you can put in kids' ears and it's not really prohibitively expensive? So the child speaks Hmong, you speak English. Everything you say, and you program your computer, everything you say is automatically translated. So now they know what you said.
Amazing.
And then lesson planning. Lesson planning, of course, you have to have teacher content knowledge. Of course, you have to have mathematical knowledge, right? You have to have pedagogical knowledge and content knowledge. But with that, you can go in and say, it's all about prompt engineering. You've got to know how to talk to AI and work with AI. And I've become a really good prompt engineer, if I must say so myself. And I'm getting better every day. And AI will help you. You can say,
Yeah,
right,
it's very meta.
right. So you can go in and say, you have to say specific things. You have to say, this is one of my main prompts.
Okay,
I
hit
want
us.
a lesson and I want the learning goal. I want the success criteria, which we still don't do a lot of. But you've got to have the success criteria so kids know what they're supposed to do, what it looks like when you're doing that thing, right?
Yep.
I want teacher notes that explain what to do with multilingual learners and neurodiverse students. I want language stems, because as Heidi Hayes Jacobs says, we're all language teachers. And I want the vocabulary. I need the exit slips, and I need the questioning, the teacher questioning, and the exit slips to be at the DOK levels 1, 2, and 3. That's my standard prompt. That is going to elevate your lesson plan.
I think the fact that you're putting the DOK in there at the end because like just gives it the added that to differentiate like what you're really looking for is to say like give like I you can imagine that it might just give you surface level if you didn't say that last
You
part.
have to know, it's only going to give you what you ask for. So you have to know what to ask for. And what all of this stuff is saying, China's way ahead of us on this. I mean, they have K-12 curriculum. But UNESCO has done some stuff. The European Union has come out with a fantastic document. It's out right now for review. And then, the United States is doing some stuff. Europe in general is doing some stuff. We're getting better at it, but saying that the skill sets for teachers and students is knowing how to prompt it, knowing how to the critical awareness. You have to know you can't accept everything it said. There's a couple of things you have to know. You have to know you can't accept everything it says. You have to know that it's biased. Right. In my book, every chapter, we put perils and pitfalls because, AI is very biased. AI is horrible for the environment. AI hallucinates and makes stuff up.
I was going to say, just make stuff up all the time.
It's getting better on all these fronts. And different AIs do different things. Now I go to max AI because I can have like 8 AIs right there and go back and forth. So I can go and say, I can do it on Claude and then go to ChatGPT and say, oh, Claude said this. Can you make it better? That kind of stuff. Always pitting them against and saying, this did this, make it better. Telling Claude, even if it gave you something fantastic, to make it better because it will. Right? The iteration is a super important piece of it. I use the script as my prompt generator. Now, there's a book written by Knight in 2025, actually, just like current. Everybody has all their acronyms. I like script because it leads you through, and script is an acronym for how you should prompt it, right? That you should be very specific, that you have to have parameters, that you have to give it a context, that you have to iterate, and so forth. You have to think about the tone. There are things you have to say or you're not going to get because people will say, well, I didn't get all that. Well, you didn't ask for all of it. You have to. So that's one of the teacher skills, right? Is to know what to ask for. You have to know how to prompt it.
What are you seeing teachers use it for now?
Well, this is the big.
You know what I mean? Like, what are you seeing in classrooms or like pre-classroom getting ready?
Some teachers are beginning to use it for lesson plans, but they're using it for like maybe a parent letter or something. There's so much stuff AI can do for you, and some people are still really stuck in AI. The kids are just going to cheat. And my thing with that is, first of all, any new technology has always been bashed, right?
Or banned. Like how many school districts right now are blocking ChatGPT from their firewalling.
The thing is that we have to develop our own skill sets, and they say this in a lot of the documents that are out as well. In the European Union's new document as well, they really stress we have to come up with activities that meet the moment. We are giving 19th and 20th century assignments still, and then blaming it on the new technology. Give a 21st century assignment. Give an assignment
looking
that does
more
not
critical thinking, not fact based.
Yes. Yes. Anybody can write an essay on Romeo and Juliet, and AI can do it better in 1 second. That's not the assignment anymore. The assignment is to go, don't tell people don't use AI, tell them to use AI, but in a critical manner. Write an essay or have AI write an essay, and then give it 3 different prompts to make that essay better. And then critique the essay it gave you. What is missing? What is there? What would you add? What do you think is like a human perspective that AI couldn't give you? Right? Generate 2 essays about Romeo and Juliet from 2 different bots. Do Chat and Claude. What are the similarities? What are the differences? Why aren't we giving 21st century assignments?
Right. Yeah. Like talk. What is your experience so far? Like think about math coordinators, math coaches as leaders in our buildings. How are you seeing teachers and also leaders use AI to sort of professional development for
They're
deepening their
not
own
yet.
learning?
We're not there. And we need to be there because we've moved on. I was just reading a book that said all the beginning AI stuff is done. We are moving on to agents. We need to know everything about AI agents. And I'm like, I don't know where he's at, but so many people are not even at just sitting down to AI and typing something in. Nobody's ready to build an agent. You're just doing the very basic. So, what does it do with coaching? I use it a lot in my coaching. I'm here at this school coaching. One of the things I did, it's the beginning of the school year, went in and went into the kindergarten classroom. We wanted to see if the kids could write their numbers to 5. The teacher just gave me. I went in yesterday, she did it, and she gave it to me today. So we saw all the kids that could whatever they interpreted that as. We put it on a sheet of paper, take a picture of it, and then ask AI for an analysis. Now we did a teacher analysis as well. What are our noticings? What are our wonderings? First and foremost, because we know the kids. But then to get AI to give an analysis, which is like just phenomenal. It brings in all the research on number formation, on where the child or your class is at, where they need to go, what the next workstation should be, all of that.
Right.
The same thing with first grade. We did write your numbers 1 to 10 in first grade because they're coming up from kinder. And it was amazing what we got. We got all kinds of stuff. And so now we're trying to plan workstations. I was like, oh, we know what to do now. Right. And the other thing we're doing is they're working on addition, but we know there's kids that they're working on adding within 10. There's kids that can't add within 5. So how do you use AI to help you really condense that data and interpret it and analyze it and then find out what's next, right? Because don't you agree that still to this day, even though we're pushing on it, assessment is often used to find out what kids don't know rather than assessment to find out what kids do know and what's next. Given that you know these things, where are you next on the trajectory?
Right.
Right? Because
What
I
you're
know where I've got
saying,
to get you, but I need to know where you are and what you
yeah.
do know so that I can then help you get to the next step. So I was in a second grade classroom and they're working on bridging 10. Okay, I don't know how many ways to say that's inappropriate because bridging 10 is definitely something you learn on the trajectory. It is not the first lesson the first week of school. But that's what their program has them doing. Because guess what? It's second grade. A lot of those kids still can't add to 5 and 10. So we need to scaffold it. What can they do? Where are they? How are we going to scaffold everybody getting to the point they need to do? And AI can help you with that because you can go in and say, I need 3 intervention lessons. And I've done this a lot. I need 3 intervention lessons on whatever, doubles. I need them to be concrete, pictorial, abstract. I need DOK level 1, 2, and 3. I need all the things that I told you guys I asked it for. And it will give me the most beautiful laid out. And then I could say, I need an assessment because remember, NCTM in their statement on AI said one of the things we really need to do is reimagine assessment to get away from shallow assessments. And I still see that today. And God bless them because teachers are doing a lot of hard work. But a lot of times, teacher made assessments are stuck in DOK level 1. This enhances. AI is meant to enhance. It is not the robot takeover. It is not a scene from Terminator 2. It is there as your friend.
Yeah.
It is your digital best friend.
Well,
And it doesn't ask for chocolate.
I will say this is the things that you're saying. It's like in every example you gave, there's always a thing to even take it further, which I think is the best part of it all, right? So it's like, as you were mentioning, you're kind of at the beginning saying like, if we're using this as a tool, you think about how difficult it is to try to extend, say, content knowledge for educators. And when you take, we can go all the way back to one of the earlier examples of, taking student work and then having it, analyze, where is this student? And the next question could be, if the student's struggling here, what might I do to help scaffold them to that place? Boom, here's an idea. The part
Yes.
that I think is really important, and I want to make sure anyone who's already using AI, or maybe they're going to hop in there and they're like, oh my gosh, I haven't been using AI and I want to, is to always ask the questions why. Because like if you ask why ChatGPT gave you that, now you can learn, and you might not need ChatGPT the next time you see this. So I look at ChatGPT as this opportunity, not only for a classroom teacher themselves just to make life better, but I think of it from a district leadership perspective. And I go, oh my gosh, it's so difficult to help raise the content knowledge of all of our educators. We actually just recorded an episode this morning about that and how challenging it is. Now we actually have a way, if we can help our teachers utilize the tool, not to just make life easier, right? Because I think that's what we default to, right? We looked at technology as, how do I make my job easier? How do I, how do I do this faster? And it's really not even that. It's about, how do I do it better? How do I become a better educator? How do I know better what to do next time, so that when I see that next time on student 6, I now know what I can ask them in the moment, instead of me taking a picture, going back to AI and saying, hey, where are we in the trajectory? What are we doing? So you can kind of see here how you use the tool as a bit of a guide, but then you learn, and you actually won't need the tool as much as the educator, because you've actually built your own content knowledge and you built your own
Love it.
understanding.
And you learn, like, if you keep prompting DOK level 1, 2, 3, you learn what that
Right.
looks like.
Yeah.
You learn how to ask those questions.
You have to, like what Kyle's saying, you have to go in with that mindset that I'm using it not just to speed up my work. I'm actually using it to become stronger. And if you go in with that, then you're naturally going to become the better prompt engineer.
Absolutely. Well, and the other thing I think with like coaches, so I was in a room, in a kinder room, and they were doing this routine about where's Hannah, and Hannah was hiding under numbers. This was last spring. But Hannah, they were like, is Hannah under 4? Is Hannah under 5? And I was like, we need to know where Hannah is. It's April. Like, she should have been found by now. But I like the idea of the routine. So I put in ChatGPT, like exactly what the routine was. And I was like, how do we take this to the next level? And it spit out like 20 things. And they were so on task. And when the teacher sat down, I was like, I love the routine. I think we got to push on the rigor of it. And I put it in chat, and this is what it gave me. And she was like, oh my God, look at all the things I could do with this. And I was like, oh, and here it is, because I can just share the document that came up, right? And so I just think it really helps us.
Yeah. Awesome.
For sure.
If you think about, we have the summit is coming up. If you're listening to this, in live time or around the fall, November 14th, 15th, 16th this year, 2025 is our 7th annual summit. Nicki is presenting at the summit. She's presenting on AI. Yes. Nicki, what is the biggest takeaway that you think participants of your session in the summit, and maybe it's the same as the big takeaway from your book and your book series that you're writing, participants or readers will have from the work you're doing right now?
I think it is that AI is here to stay and to make our lives better and to make our lives more interesting and to help us to enhance and augment what we do, even though a lot of the research is now talking about co-creation. It's not even just saying enhance, it's talking about co-creation, right? And so what does that look like for educators in the 21st century? And I think that's an important question that we must take up for our kids' sake. I'll give you one last example. I was working with the 6th grade teachers. They're doing a unit on exponentiation. This is the summer. So we put in AI, how do you make exponentiation interesting? It gave us the coolest activities. And that's one of the things about the book series is AI will give you, AI came up with something that the teachers were, and 6th grade teachers, they're not impressed by much, right? So yeah. They were like, oh my God, this is fantastic. You know what it did? It made the kids detectives. And then it gave them all these cases for exponentiation. And the kids, it said, these are the common errors you're a detective and you're looking for these errors in these cases. And then it set up all the math as cases. And then the kids were detectives. And then at the end, you either got your detective badge or had to go back for some more training.
I love it.
But it was like really just a cool way of framing that kind of intense math, right? That kids would be engaged in, and that teachers were like, this is so cool. That is one of the other things I really like about AI is like, I do a lot of riddles. And like, if I want to teach place value, I'm like, oh, give me a bunch of riddles that kids can practice. And kids are much more likely to want to practice a riddle than a bunch of problems, right? AI will give me mysteries. It'll give me escape rooms. It'll do like all that kind of stuff that's kind of labor intensive. And then I can go through and change and fix and whatever. But I think that one thing, if you say, I'd say one of the biggest things is I want people to realize there's so many more ideas about how to teach the content that we haven't even ever thought of
Right.
that AI can give us if we know how to prompt it.
I love it. I love it. First of all, we want to thank you. You've given so many great examples. And the beautiful part is, I have a sneaky suspicion when people show up to your summit session, it's going to be different than what we just discussed, right? So we're going to be talking about a lot of the same ideas, but it will be fresh. And we know that, you're going to have all kinds of amazing goodies, great examples,
It's going to
visuals,
be very
all kinds of
interactive.
things, very
It's going to be
interactive.
interactive.
Love it. Love it. So we are so excited to have you back. And folks, if you have not yet, you should head over to summit.makemathmoments.com. Get yourself signed up. It is a free live event for you to dig into. Of course, there's ways to extend your ticket and do all kinds of fun stuff there. But definitely, Nicki, yours is one of those sessions where, we do a little battle because we all want to host your session on our end as the hosts of the summit. So we're looking forward to doing that. Once again, summit.makemathmoments.com. Nicki, we will see you in November. And folks, if you're listening to this after November, you can join the Academy so that you can dig into this year's summit, as well as the other 6 full summits, and of course, all of the other goodies inside the Academy.